this podcast about Jordan's International Corporate Procedures. My name is Nigel Banerjee. I teach company law at King's College London and I'm the General Editor of International Corporate Procedures. What I'd like to do in this podcast is give you an idea of what the ICP is and how it can help you. In a nutshell, the ICP is an encyclopedia of information on company law, tax and accounting matters in dozens of jurisdictions across the world. Its aim is to save you time and money. Say, for example, you're a solicitor or an accountant who has been asked by a client to gather information about directors' liabilities in 10 countries across Europe and Asia. Instead of consulting external advisors or contacting your overseas offices, or indeed scouring the internet for information, which may in any case be unreliable, all you need to do is turn to the ICP. The information is set out clearly and concisely, and crucially, it is also authoritative, because all of our contributors have extensive knowledge of the jurisdictions for which they write. As I see it, the ICP has three main selling points: its scope, its depth, and the fact that it is updated regularly. I'll take each of these in turn. First, scope. In terms of jurisdictions, we cover not only the ones you'd expect, the likes of the UK, the US, Germany, France and Hong Kong, but also jurisdictions about which information may be less readily available. For example, we have entries on countries such as Brazil, Mexico, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia and Kenya. At present, the ICP contains entries for nearly 60 jurisdictions, and we keep our coverage under constant review so that we can add new jurisdictions to reflect changing global business trends. When I refer to scope, I'm also thinking about the scope of each entry. As I mentioned a moment ago, the ICP goes well beyond company law. The tax and accounting section is not just an add-on, but a very substantial part of each entry in its own right. By way of illustration, in the hard copy edition, the tax and accounting section for Spain, for example, runs to more than 30 pages. This leads me on to the question of depth. Not only do we cover dozens of jurisdictions, but we cover the regime in each jurisdiction in a great deal of detail. If I list some of the content headings within the section on company formation, that will give you an idea of what I mean. They include the following: timescale for formation, costs of formation, civil liability of officers and shareholders, capital requirements, control of mergers and acquisitions, powers of company officers, public disclosure of company information, and borrowing and charges. And that really is just the tip of the iceberg. As you can see, it all adds up to a very substantial 3-volume set. The point I'm trying to make is that the ICP gives you much more than a quick overview. It gives you a comprehensive, in-depth insight into each jurisdiction's company law and financial reporting framework. Turning finally to updating, the ICP is continuously updated both in its online form and in its hard copy loose leaf form. We issue 6 updates a year, dealing not only with routine updating, but also with full revisions of entries where required, and of course, with the introduction from time to time of completely new entries. Amongst the entries which have been fully revised over the course of the last few updates are those for Belgium, Canada, Malaysia and South Africa, and we have also introduced a brand new jurisdiction in the shape of Malta. Where appropriate, we also publish updates in the form of bulletins. So, for instance, earlier this year we issued a detailed bulletin for Ireland, dealing with the publication of the Companies Bill at the end of 2012. The aim of all of this, of course, is to ensure that the ICP is not only comprehensive in its coverage, but as up-to-date as possible. I hope you found this brief introduction helpful. If you're interested in subscribing, or if you just want to know more about the work, please don't hesitate to contact Jordan's. In the meantime, thank you for watching this podcast.